Drop these, everybody.
All right, let me know if you can hear me, and I'll just start over. Not a big deal. I can cut this part out. Can y'all hear me? I'm looking to see if y'all can hear me. Okay, I can hear me. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I just start over. Not a big deal, not a big deal. Welcome back to What She Said Sports Lounge. Shout out to the Colorado Buffs. Shout out to the Buffs for doing what needed to be done. Whatever it required, the Buffs rose to the occasion. Shout out to the defense. Shout out to Colorado's defense, whether it was Taufik Bayer, hell, Ben Finesse was the leading tackler on the night, whether it was London Merritt, the red zone defense, Amari McNeil, the front seven, Sean Myers, these guys did what needed to be done. You could see there was a turning point in the game where you could see they were getting gas because they've been running man all night. Now, we've had a lot of discussion in What She Said Sports Lounge asking why is it that they're going to run man all night, especially in the first half when the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. See, in the beginning of the game, it was starting to look like Georgia Tech all over again, right? Except for we didn't come out fast this time. We started off slow. And maybe that's because every time we start fast, things get pulled back, right? So shout out to Kaden Salter. I don't want to hear any more Kaden Salter slander. And I hope y'all can see with 2 or 3 run pass options in a row that the predictability is a strategy. It tells the other team what to do. Now, there's only 5 games left. 5. We have a bye week next week, and these students for this year, these players for this year, finally get the taste of victory. And there's only 5 games left. Colorado was 2-4 when the game started. Now they're 3-4. Hopefully they can win the next 5 games. And I mean, I guess it'll be what, 8-4? So I don't know if we're going to get to a bowl game. We need 3 more games. We only have 5 left after a bye week. And a bye week can be a disadvantage. It would be nice maybe if they had another game because the momentum is high. But now they're going to take some time off, go celebrate, which they should. They earned it. But then they have to come back and play, I think, Kansas State. They have to come back and play Utah first, October 25th after the bye week. Then it's November 1st, Arizona. Then it's West Virginia. And then Arizona State. And then Kansas State. And that's it. These guys get ready to move on with their lives. Once it starts, it goes by really quickly. Arizona State is ranked number 21. But are we concerned about that? No. Colorado just took down number 22 ranked Iowa State with a depleted team. If you saw the injury list, you saw how many players were listed as injured. But guess what? They got it done with what they had. They made do with what they had. That's resilience. That's resourcefulness. Congrats to these players. At first, I said I didn't know if I wanted to watch the game because I didn't want it to hurt if they started out fast or if they had the win and it was snatched from them. Now, we know that mistakes will be made, right? But we know we got to tighten up. Critical, untimely penalties. We absolutely have to fix that. Nonsense, nuisance type penalties. Understand, they're going to always call unsportsmanlike conduct or taunting on Colorado. Got to learn from our history. So while I'm excited that we look professional with exceptional clock management, I'm still not sure why it is the players have to not only get themselves together mentally to beat the other team, they have to beat predictable play calling. 3 run pass options. When Dallin Hayden got the nod to go, they took him out the game. When JoJo was hot, they took him out the game. Does anybody understand that? Does anybody understand that? That's no different than kicking on 4th and 1. Whenever these kids, and I'm sticking up for these players today, because they went out there and did what needed to be done on defense and offense, despite defense running man-to-man, majority, if not all of the game, and being gassed after 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They did what needed to be done. They were playmakers. And that red zone defense, that's becoming a signature at Colorado because that red zone defense was hella serious last year too. And I'm happy to see it's still there. So while things are getting better, we have a bye week and we only have 5 left. I don't even know if the team focuses on a bowl game because, to be honest, being 2-4, you can't really worry about trying to get to 6 if you already lost 4. You got to fix what's wrong. And I pointed out that Colorado's issues were layered, right? And I was correct on that. Layered in the fact that predictable play calling on offense, and it's still here. Running man versus zone too much, and the players getting gassed, and then the morale going low, or the team going up 14-0, or defeating teams like getting Georgia Tech on the ropes, or getting BYU on the ropes, or getting TCU on the ropes, and then having it snatched away from them due to poor play calling. These kids gonna make mistakes. There's not a football team out here that executed perfectly. You plan to adjust for the mistakes. But what shouldn't be is predictable play calling or running man defense when the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That's setting your team up for failure. They're not going to execute everything perfectly. Now put having the team defense gas because they on the field too much, running man coverage the whole way through. Having Caden, who's a dual threat quarterback, pigeonholed and running plays for him like he's a game manager, just like they're going to try to do for Shador if he ever get back in the game in Cleveland. But whenever plays are called to Caden's strengths, when they let him air it out and the receiver catches it, shout out to JoJo, it's beautiful and it's effortless. But then it gets shut down. And then we go try to be creative on 3 and 7, throwing the ball back instead of forward, right? What is that about? We need 7 yards. While we out here trying to throw a play to the sideline, which is really just a distraction and eating up a down. Why are we constantly starting every down with the run play? If I know that, if what she said, Sports Lounge knows that, why is that what we're doing? That is so predictable, which is exactly how Caden got popped down there in the end zone and when the game started. Because I know what you're going to do. If we know what you're going to do at home, the other team knows what you're going to do. So while the issues are layered and we're starting to check off the boxes, exceptional clock management, check. Defense, resilient despite poor scheming, check. Playmaking to make something happen when offense 3 and out, or on 37, we playing around with the ball rather than running forward with the ball. We throwing it back and forth to the side. Like Iowa State was just going to stand there and let us get away with it. They are ranked. Although we could beat them, they still ranked. Running 3 pass options in a row to kill the drive. When we could have had, the game could have been up by 10 and not by 7. Poor play call. That box is still unchecked. And it's not right for these kids to be told, I need consistency from you, and we can't get consistently good play calling on offense or adjustments on defense from the coordinator to when you see the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And you got to keep putting the defense on the field, but you keeping them gassed with man. And it's obvious that they're tapping out. That's the coordinator problems. And those boxes are still unchecked. I want these kids to go celebrate their victory. I'm proud of Coach Pryor for stepping up to the plate and using those timeouts efficiently. But the offensive coordinator has to be replaced to give these kids a chance to win the next 5 games and end the season on a bright note. That has to happen. At times we ask, is there a different play caller? See, when we're looking for creative plays, it's not when we're in 3 and 7 trying to throw the ball back and forth and increasing the difficulty, the degree of difficulty to complete, to get to a first down. That's not what creativity means. Creativity means do not run on 1st and 10 every goddamn time. That's what it means. And if we have all of these NFL greats calling the shots, then why is it that they don't know that? Because they see what we see. And I think these kids are owed consistency from their coordinators to call schemes and plays that match the damn game and make proper adjustments to match the flow of the game, to give the kids a chance to win. The kids shouldn't have to fight against the coordinators. That's not a fight that they can win consistently. And one question we had, why is it that when we play other teams, and what she said, Sports Line, we use notice, right? Why does it Caden and some of the other offensive players have a sleeve? Now I knew Shador had a sleeve, but when we played BYU, when we played U of H, when we played Georgia Tech, when we played TCU, the quarterback had a sleeve and ours does not. And so does either the running back or one of their tight ends. Why is that a hindrance to Colorado? That's a problem. That is a problem. And it's not a problem we've had before. So why is it a problem we have now? Now that Shador's gone, the offense is hindered because they have no ability to call audibles. None. That's a problem. I'm pretty sure the offense will run more smoothly if the players had some type of control over the plays because they right there on the ground. Because I do remember Coach Prime saying the DC and the OC will go to Travis and Shador and ask them what they see because y'all are out there. And even then, Shador had a sleeve. And that made sense to me. Why is that not happening this year? Why is it the quarterback doesn't have a sleeve or nobody else on the offense? Shout out to Jordan Seaton and Michael Welsh for that run block play. I watched them practice that at Colorado. I love that play. That's creativity at the right time. But when you're trying to go 3-7 and you turn to the side and you trying to pass the ball back and forth against a team that's not going to stand there and let you do it and you're not going forward, you just wasting time. You just begrudgingly making creative plays. Creative was the run block with Jordan Seaton with Michael Welsh. Creative was what also worked for us against Georgia Tech when you saw Caden throw a ball to Dallin Hayden instead of a wide receiver because they looking for our wide receivers. They know you're going to throw to Omarion. Many of us have seen the Dr. Pepper commercial. We know how it works. They do too. Shout out to Omarion. A lot of drop passes. I understand the wide receiver coach had something to say. They made adjustments. They tightened up. So on both sides of the ball, the players did what they needed to do to be resourceful enough to pull off this win. Now it's incumbent upon Coach Prime as the head coach to do what needs to be done so these players don't have to fight against play calling and scheming on defense. It's common sense. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out on offense keeps your defense on the field. So running man all that time is not strategic. It's wearing them down. It's not how you get a win. It's how you stall out and lose. And maybe NFL football is somehow different from college football, that we have two coordinators that do not appear to be strategizing and calling schemes and plays to actually win, but that the kids, the players themselves, have to learn a lesson in adversity on how to defeat the opposition within. The call is coming from within the house. It's bad enough they're going to make mistakes. It's bad enough they might get some, calls. But to fight against my coordinators through the next 5 games, whew. Respect is earned. And when you put people in impossible positions and you make it harder for them to achieve the mission you have set out for them, respect isn't given. So I'm happy for the bus. I'm happy for these players. Shout out to the wide receiver coach. Shout out to Warren Sapp, because we can see the defense is exhibiting Warren Sapp energy, just like last year. And we were looking for that through the first 4 games. But I said it, at some point, the morale had to be low because these kids kept going out here and getting the score up and starting fast and checking off all the boxes. And the play calling became so predictable that the other teams knew exactly what to do. And then we were not using the right personnel at the right time. We were not making adjustments. We were allowing penalties. We were throwing to the same people. But finally, we got it right. Finally. So I don't want to hear any more Caden Salter slander. Yes, he made mistakes. These kids gonna throw interceptions. They gonna make mistakes. But when they all work together, when they realize we can't win this by ourselves as individuals, we gotta come together collectively and put the frustration aside, put the low morale in the locker room aside because it seems hopeless. And we got to go ahead and make something happen. And that's what they did. Congratulations to the players of the Colorado Buffs and to the coaches that actually helped these kids to win, put them in position to win. And shout out to Coach Prime for listening to people about clock management. That's how people grow. That's how you develop. And that is also how you earn respect. When you get constructive criticism and you actually do what needs to be done for the team, you gain respect as a leader. So let me see what y'all are saying. Thank you, Carly. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you, Charlotte, for sending me that message. I saw it. Strategy helped and worked. Yes, strategy. You got to do it. I was nervous the entire game. I bet. I bet. And you know what? Shout out to I forgot who it was in our chat because I saved the comments, but I don't see them. That told us early on when it started to look bleak at the beginning. You know, trying to go with this run game because you want to get 200 yards on the ground. But I mean, you know, you got to play the team that you're playing, and you got to put the personnel in, and you have to call those plays at a timely fashion. And when it's working, like with Dallin Hayden, then you take him out. So do you really want to get 200 yards on the ground? And are we really getting 100 yards on the ground? Because why? When we have a quarterback with an arm. So I don't blame you. It was said in the comments when we were starting to see, it was starting to look bleak, that the second possession of Colorado's second possession, they would have made adjustments. It did. So we know going into the next game, seemingly in the first possession, they feeling out the defense. I mean, I'm gonna give you one possession to do that. I don't think you need two, but that's what happened. So we'll give you some time to feel out the defense because that's a strategy too, right? But coming out on every 1st and 10, if you have 10 of them, if you run the ball on 9 of them, they're gonna know that's what you're gonna do. And so does the next 5 teams coming behind you. That has to stop. There's no purpose for burning the first drive and the second drive, trying to get nowhere. You just got the first down. Throw the damn ball. Caden is not a game manager. He is a dual threat. He can use his arm and his legs, and we have to continue to allow that and stop keeping him on a leash, because maybe in the NFL, we just preferred game managers. Because isn't that what happened in Cleveland? Isn't a game manager starting ahead of Shedeur Sanders? Gentle reminder, Caden being on the leash is no different than Shedeur being on the bench in Cleveland. And you see, when you call plays conducive to a dual threat skill set, run pass options, throwing the ball, it works. And the only time it does not sometimes is either he make a mistake or the receivers make a mistake. But it's not like it doesn't work. They just might not connect. So you try it again. But you don't try 3 run pass options in a row. You're just trying to kill the drive. So there are 2 boxes that need to be checked. Making adjustments on defense when it comes to man and zone, especially when the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That absolutely has to happen. And the offense, this is not just about being creative. This is about being predictable. No more predictable play calling. It's shameful to have a quarterback run 3 and outs. Of course, he's going to get sacked. Or is that the goal? Sometimes you have to ask who the leaders on offense are working for. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's Colorado. So 2 boxes that need to be checked, and they belong to both coordinators, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Pat Schumer and Rob Livingston. It said they're too busy trying to keep everyone happy instead of putting the ball in the playmakers' hands. That must be what it is. That must be what it is. Because I know in one game, I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. But you need to spread that ball around. You need to spread that ball around. And the leading receiver was JoJo. The leading defensive tackler was Ben Finnesseth. Now, there were a lot of playmakers on defense. You could see the tide where they just decided to turn nothing into something and make something happen. Taufik Bayard interception, right? We need more of that. We need more people to do that. I'm happy to see Taufik Bayard come in to Colorado as a newbie and take a leadership role. I'm happy to see Amari McNeil ball out today. I'm happy to see Ben Finnesseth getting 6 tackles by himself. I'm happy to see Taufik Bayard get 6 with 1 assist and an interception. I'm happy to see London Merritt getting to the quarterback. That kid is a dog. And that's my problem. We got too much talent to be out here underutilizing the talent for whatever reason. Favoritism. Just like you said, you're not putting the ball in the playmaker's hands. JoJo's the playmaker. I don't want to hear nothing. He's the starter. You figure out who the Y and the Z gonna be, but that's your starter. That's your starter. And Dallin Hayden, he need to be up there too. Because he is doing well. Marshall Faulk has actually made a wonderful impact on the running back room. But let's not turn our dual threat quarterback into a game manager because you want to get 200 yards, despite whether you can get 200 yards on the ground or not. With the personnel you have, knowing the running back room is depleted. We didn't have Draylon, we didn't have DeCaitlin Taylor, and we did not have Simeon Price. And we know they're all effective. And it's nice for the other guys to get an opportunity. But how do we say, I want to get 200 yards on the ground when you don't even have the talent to really do that? And you didn't get 200 yards on the ground, but you did damn good in the air. And the quarterback did good with his arm and his legs. And that's what dual threats do. So let's keep using the quarterback like he is. We got a bye week. Coming back from the bye week, we should know who the starters are. And we should know who to adjust to if they get gassed. And we should know to make adjustments away from man, go to zone for a bit, and let them get themselves together. If the first half is in and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, nobody should have to tell anybody that. I've never been a coach in my life, and that's common sense. But common sense is not being used when it comes to the talent, when it comes to the defensive, whether it's man or zone, the schemes. Oh, definitely not when it comes to play calling. The kids are fighting uphill against all of that. And that's shameful. Thankfully, they didn't have to fight against clock management this week. So Coach Prime listened. Now, when the rest of them going to listen? It said, give the ball to Omarion JoJo. Let Dylan and Micah run air out of the ball. What do you mean by run air out of the ball? It said there's nothing wrong with running man defense if you had a personnel to do it. Right. It's nothing wrong with running man defense if you have the personnel to do it and they not gassed from being on the field too long. How many times have we run into? That's what exactly happened with Georgia Tech. They was out there too long. This was going the same way. I told y'all, there's 1 or 2 game plans, and they just pick a dart, and they like, I'm going to do these 10 plays, or I'm going to do these 5 plays. It looks like insubordination to me. And we've had this conversation before. There's no way you want these kids to win if the defense has to stay out there because offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and you still running man. Either we don't have the personnel to do it, or we had it because they were intense in the beginning, and we saw them tapping out. And then they just came on like gangbusters. They shouldn't have to fight against that like that all the time. You should know if the defense is only out there for a minute or 2. Okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead on the zone for a bit so they don't get tapped out so we can reserve their strength toward the end. To not do so, it's just interesting. It said, it's a good time for a bye week. Buffs need to only win 3 out of the last 6 games to be bowl eligible. How many games are left? It said K Salter in a bad spot with predictable plays called. Right. And people didn't want to accept that. People didn't want to accept that. And if you listen to the game by the game announcement by Louis Riddick, he was high praise for Caden. Right? Why? Because Caden was being utilized as a dual threat at some point, not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. And I think the conflict comes because somebody want to run 200 yards and we want to win the game. Have we ever run 200 yards? Then why the hell am I trying to run 200 yards against ranked Iowa State? We got what, 140 yards? Why am I trying to run 200 yards? Just because to run 200 yards? You know you're going to use your quarterback as a game manager if Colorado's run game ever hits 200 yards. And I mean ever. Because when has that happened? So let's see right here. Looking at the team stats. So looking at the team stats, Colorado's to your right with the goal. Total yards. Let me make sure y'all can see my screen. Yeah, okay. Total yards. 395 for Colorado, 441 for Iowa State. Passing. We won that game, 255. We don't have a bad quarterback. We have predictable play calling, and we're trying to box in a dual threat and dumb him down to a game manager. And that causes frustration, and it makes you want to quit and give up. And I'm sorry. You asking too much of that 23-year-old who watched Shedeur Sanders ball out, have a sleeve on the call plays, and Caden don't even have a sleeve, and neither does anybody else on offense, and the plays are predictable, and they trying to run 200 yards, which means they trying to box him in as a game manager, and this is his NFL year. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You can't blame him for being frustrated. For I came for one thing, and you trying to sell me something else. That's called bait and switch. And it's the reason why certain people came and they're not there no more. Rushing yards, 140. Hell, they had 236 with 205 in the air. We had 140. Did we even have the personnel in this game because of all the injuries to go 200? Have we ever gone 200? Why are we trying to go 200 and bypass what we saw tonight? 255 passing. And you're not going to tell me it's because he threw interceptions, because I told you Shedeur had 10 last year. Caden has 4 right now, 3 in the last game. But he didn't make no excuses. I got to do better. Yeah. Caden can't allow. The reality is I came to ball out like Shedeur did, but I don't have a sleeve. I can't make call audibles. And I'm being boxed in like a game manager. This is just as frustrating for Shedeur as it is for Caden, because that's not what they came for. And they're talented and they're better than that. Caden was expected to be the leading rushing quarterback in the Big 12 for a reason. He's not even on the list of Big 12 quarterbacks in consideration at all. Thanks to predictable play calling, frustration, politics. You asking these 23-year-olds who just went to school for the most part, probably never had a job outside of football, if ever, to know how to deal with things that I see in corporate America every day, that senior most people deal with. Yards per play, 6.3, 6.2. I said it when we were live. What she said, Sports Lounge. The teams were evenly matched. And they were ranked. And guess what? We could beat Iowa State, BYU, TCU, and Georgia Tech. And when this game started to go like Georgia Tech, meaning the defense was getting gassed because the offense was 3 and out with ridiculous play calling, especially at 3rd and 7. Can you just get 7 damn yards? See, when you ask somebody for something and they begrudgingly give it to you, they're not trying to help you win. They just trying to stay out of trouble. Maybe keep their job or get an extension on their existing contract. But they're not trying to help you win. You know who's trying to help these kids win? The coaches like Warren Sapp and Marshall Falk and what's the one from Jackson State named the O-line? They see how they got that together, and they had some problems early on, but they got it together. Gunnar White and the other two quarterbacks, other two coaches on his staff, and then you have you know the players because you see how they talk to the players, you see how they interact with the players, you see how they respect the players, even when they chiding them for not doing the right thing, they still are respectful, but they interact with them, they engage with them, they're instructing them, they're guiding them. The wide receiver coach, the special teams coach, hell, Mata's coach, because thank goodness Mata don't miss. You can see the difference. And maybe it has something to do with arrogance because they came from the NFL. But this ain't the NFL. Thankfully so. So we had 16 first downs to their 22. Third down efficiency, 7 of 15, 2 of 12. Fourth down efficiency, 0 of 1 on both sides. Total plays, they had 70, we had 64. No sacks allowed. Punts, 6 on their side and 6 on our side. Again, evenly matched. 7 of 59. Penalties, Colorado 6 of 43. No fumbles lost. Thankfully, they had one interception. We did not. And people didn't realize Caden didn't throw his first interception in the first game. It took a minute. Time of possession. We had the ball for 30 minutes. They had it for 29.57. So the game got better in the second half. The first half started out way too slow. And that's because we trying to get 200 yards on the ground and box in our dual threat quarterback and not put the ball in the hands of playmakers. That's the problem. It's layered, but that's the problem. Hey Z, how you doing? How you doing? Joyce said, "Go Buffs! Use the bye week and come back strong." Facts. Coach Prime need a sleeve or a place sheet. Something. There's a guy on the sideline with a green vest on, number 14, doing all of this. Maybe that's their replacement for a sleeve, but it said that's the point. You have NFL players that played at the highest level. Pat Schumer never played in the NFL. He was the losing NFL coach. It said most of the coaches are playing fantasy football. Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that. He was never a football player? He never played in the NFL. So he played like college ball, but he never played at the pro level. Interesting. Thank you for that insight. That's pretty good. Thank you for that. No limit. Thank you. Hey Z, how you doing? It said that was definitely a big win today. Dion in Colorado needed that top 25 win. Facts. And I checked the rankings. We're still number 15 out of 16. And they look like they fell a little bit. I have to look at the top 25 tomorrow. But what it shows you is if we had Georgia Tech on the rope, if we had BYU on the ropes, TCU on the ropes, BYU was ranked, Iowa was ranked, and we all had all of them on the rope and we beat number 22 and we get ready to play number 21, then we should beat Arizona. And we could have beat Georgia Tech and BYU. And if you ask me, I do believe that caused the morale to suffer a bit. Led by Jordan Seaton, had the perfect attitude. And I know he's getting guidance because we saw him frustrated at some point. We heard him talk about the play calling. So we know it had to negatively affect the kids to get to this point and it be all their fault. And then there's bad clock management. Then there's zone versus man and at the wrong time and not getting it right and the wrong personnel and not making adjustments and allowing penalties on this person and picking this person instead of spreading the ball around and doing this, that, and the other. All of that had to be really hard to deal with. But they got it together today, the players. Some of the coaches. Now it's time for the coordinators to get it together. And Coach Prime got to oversee that. That's not fair to these kids. And you see what's going on at UNC. The parents that spoke out over there saying that Bill Belichick has created a toxic environment and that's the kids are feeding off of it. So yeah, the kids feed off of politics between adults in the room. They feed off of subordination by a lesser person on the hierarchy. They feed off of We just gonna say you the problem, scapegoating, and not hold the coordinators accountable. They feed off them. They feed off of that. It said Funny Prime did not know people rushing the field. The game came with paying a fine, $50,000 shocked him, and he wanted to know who came up with that number. Is that the standard? Isn't that how much Virginia Tech was fined? Or Virginia. How much Virginia was fined for rushing the field? I don't know why they just don't outlaw it. Why they keep allowing it? And it's just okay with, does it somehow do something for attendance the next game? Because it looked fun. I don't know. But haven't they rushed the field before? The Baylor game? I think it was the Baylor game, I think I recall. It's that's exactly why they call football a game of inches. Your team literally can be one play or 1 yard for winning or losing. See, you should be 6-1. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. Georgia Tech. Yeah. The only team we probably actually lost to is U of H, because we decided to switch things up. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta give them that one. Kids shouldn't have to fight against play college. So yes, it's true. A game of inches, and it increases with each offense. Oh, you talking about the storm in the field? The amount increases. So yeah, I don't know how he didn't know that. Maybe I don't know where he was when it happened to Squirrel. I hope that kid is okay. That's the kid that was on the field in the end zone when Virginia stormed the field, and they had those kids lined up ready to storm the field. So they definitely allow it, and they must not have a problem with the 50,000. It must be a tax write off because they definitely allowing this to happen. So I don't know how he didn't know about that one. So it goes up every time the kids storm the field. I don't think they seem to care. Who remembers the Virginia Tech game when they stormed the field? The kids were allowed to come out of the stands and wait around the sidelines, and the security just held them back. And as soon as the players didn't even get up off the ground, they just stormed the field. Security allowed it. That's what the school clearly allows. So I don't know. It said one school had $100,000 put on them. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. 100,000. Well, I'm getting ready to get out of here. So I'm sharing the new merch drop. If you haven't seen it, we have the Shadorian hoodies. We have different colorways. Go check them out. I'm wearing the I Keep Receipts hoodie. I told y'all it's really, really, really nice. Shout out to the Buffs. Go enjoy the victory and get some rest and come back ready to conquer these last, how is it, 5 or 6 games? I think I said 5. I saw 5 because we have a bye week. So I think it's 5 left, right? I think when I looked at the schedule, I saw 5, and that would make us 8. If we win the rest of them, we would go 8. Because what are we right now? With 3 and 4, so 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. So yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games. The bye week we don't. So that is 6 weeks left. 1 bye week plus 5 games. So that's it. They on the back half of the season when they come back from the bye week. So, and is that the last bye week or is there another one? That might be it. So thank y'all for hanging out with me while I get this out. Of course, everybody's not going to agree, and that's okay. That's okay. But as a consensus, as a group today, we got together and we talked about this, right? And one of the biggest complaints that we had was predictable play calling, and penalties, and running man the whole time while these kids getting gassed, not making adjustments there. So there's some things to fix there. So while you're here, thank you. There's 76 of us. Grade the win. Grade the win. Would you give it an A, a B, a C, a D, or F? I wouldn't give it an F. I would give it a D. As a unit, I would give the kids an A minus because of the penalties. But the coaches, as a unit, the coaches, I give a B. The coordinators. Ooh, the coordinators. I would give the offensive coordinator a D minus because this has happened too many times. I would give the defensive coordinator a C because you should know a man and when to run zone. I'm sorry. You know the offense is three and out, three and out, three and out. You were there for Georgia Tech. So when you know better, Pat Schumer, you do better. When you know better, Rob Livingston, you do better. You see, Coach Prime was told to do better on clock management, and he did. When you know better, you do better. Shout out to Coach Prime. All right. So Prime said he will put money in to pay it. Why? Why does he feel like he needs to pay for kids running on the field? That's not personal. That happens all over college football. They just started their rule on finding them, but coach was worried about Shador and his so he probably didn't get the memo. Oh, okay. When it happened, I think it just happened. I mean, I don't know, but that's fine. It said Prime said he will put money to pay it. I don't know why he would put money to pay it. The kids have stormed the field before. A win is a win. Okay, so a win is a win, Z. So Z gave them an A. Greetings, everyone. Hey, Wild Dog, welcome back. Welcome back. It said that's true for the coordinators. Yeah, the coordinators, their boxes still need to be checked off. They know better, so they need to do better. It's been how many games? We should be 6-1. Facts. So they've had 5 games to get it right. It said, I hit the like button on the way in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know about the whole why. I don't know why Coach Prime would be paying a fine because some kids ran on the field that the kids been doing. That's not new. Now, if the rules change and did nobody make the announcement to the kids, then I don't know what to do, right? And where's security? So the rules change, and maybe Colorado didn't get the memo, but that ain't on Coach Prime. But it's up to him if he want to donate his money. Now, I don't have nothing to do with that. 50,000 fine field rush is straight money grab, right? And here's the thing: they allow these kids to do so, and it's not like there's been one announcement to all of college football by the NCAA that if any of your students run onto the field and rush the field, you're gonna be fined 50,000 unless they send out an email. And if so, I'm sure it went to Rick George. Did he communicate to security? See, that's something right there. That ain't a battle. I'm a fight. So whatever they want to do, they want to do. Willie said he give them a C overall. You don't give them a, you talking about the kids or you talking about the coordinators or the coaches? Or you talking about the whole game? You gave him a C? It said, well, Coach Prime said he approved. So he's chipping in. He's chipping in. Comments should take him off the hook. Okay. Again, not a battle I'm interested in fighting because, yeah, I gave them a C because they don't stomp on the neck and take over the game. Oh, okay, Willie. Okay. Well, I split up the grade. Coach Prime got a grade. I'm proud of him for listening to the constructive criticism that people have given him multiple times about clock management. And I absolutely loved clock management today. And I love how they ran that clock out. I thought that was beautiful. It just anticipated the victory. And it was just exciting. And then there's the coordinators, they need to work on their boxes. They got boxes to check. Rob Livingston and definitely Pat Schumer. And I don't know if because they from the NFL, they might be a little arrogant and think nobody can tell them what to do. Coach Prime gonna have to get them in check. And then the coaches, I get him a B. I get him a B, right? That's the ones that get the players ready. And this time, it didn't look like nobody was out here. It looked like they put the ball in the hand of the playmaker in the second half. But it wasn't as bad as it was before. So, and then you got like Warren Sapp and the special teams coach Polak, Coach Polak. I think he's doing a great job with special teams. I can't wait to see Gibson get one. I think the Colorado players gonna have to block for that to happen, though. You got to block for your kick returner or your punt returner because he can't be out there by himself because they gonna get him. They gonna get him. So maybe they need to work on run blocking for the extra, what they call it, the punt return, etc. Now I don't know what's going on with the kicking. I think it's okay. I think it's just that the first punt return, we were so deep in the end zone, 50 yards was all you could expect. And people had complaints. about why it is we were still back there in that end zone trying to run the ball, get 1 or 2 yards, and get the hell out of there. That started off poorly, and it just kept creeping up, creeping in at untimely. It was untimely for some of this play calling. It caused situations. So it said just raise the ticket price by $1 next game. Oh, maybe it work. Maybe that could work because it is 50,000 of them. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But I don't know if there's been an announcement or not. So, again, not a battle I could fight, but $1 ticket kind of suffices. But what they gonna do to stop it next time? That's the question. Security out there, because I know that Virginia game, security let them kids out. They let them kids line up, waiting for the game to be over, with no instructions of don't step on the players. I mean, that's kind of common sense, but they ain't care. You're talking about a bunch of liquored up, because they sell beers at the stadium. They sell liquor. Remember when we played TCU, how they had all them liquor advertisements? They be advertising liquor to these college students. Them kids be over there drinking. You think they worried about Squirrel? Poor Squirrel. I hope he all right, though. I hope he all right. Wild Dog said, we beat 22 Iowa State. The crowd was locked and loaded by 2 minutes. Not enough security in the world. Just drop the goalpost and get out the way. It's party time. Okay. I like it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what you're going to do about that. Maybe it is just a straight money grab, because you really can't stop that, right? Not enough security in the world. I will agree with that. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for hanging out. If you didn't see it, just catch the replay. Oh, and I forgot, they can actually fire up in Boulder too. Yeah, there you go. They can actually, and that's another thing. But you would think that would slow them down. You think they be moving slow, like they on that purple stuff or something like that. But again, I don't know. But y'all were awesome. I'm getting out of here and I'm headed outdoors. So I'll see y'all. I'm not live tonight at 10:35. This is it in the 4-hour live stream we had earlier. It was actually 3 hours and 54 minutes. Go watch it. It was good. Great commentary in the chat for sure. And great interaction. So go check it out. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. And don't forget, we have free shipping right now. And if you don't have a Halloween costume, go over to whatshesaidsports.com and see if you can become a DIYer, do-it-yourselfer, with the nice apparel that we have for Halloween. Check it out. Check out the Halloween collection. All right. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Go get your snack. Yeah, I'm going out for sure. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.